Hey everybody, today we're going to be looking at Amnesia, The Dark Descent, and some of its aiming issues. This is specifically for the PC version. I don't know the console version, so I don't know if these issues exist there. I have heard from Jeff, the Cynical Gamer, that the Amnesia devs plan to fix these issues. I don't know when they plan to do that, but this video might not be relevant too far out in the future. But I want to make it just both because these issues are pretty interesting, but also to compare it to what their fix is. So that could be interesting to see. But just getting started with it, Amnesia uses two different dead zone shapes, both a circle and a square, and how they register depends on how you move the stick. So if you move it in very straight lines, you'll use the square dead zone. So as you can see, I'm past this circular dead zone, but I'm still in the square. But once I break out of it, I start seeing acceleration happen, and a little ahead of myself there, once I break out here. Okay. But if you move diagonally, the circular dead zone will take over. So if I move the stick around diagonally, I'm outside the circle, but inside the square, and there's acceleration happening. And once you've passed the circular dead zone, once you've kind of moved diagonally and had the circular dead zone activate, you kind of stay in that dead zone type until you recenter it. And then the square dead zone can be like reapplied. Oops, I'm kind of messing up. You have to move pretty precisely to get the square dead zone to kind of show up. But you see, like, once I move circularly, it's just going to stay that way. But like square dead zones normally have, you'll see a lot of restricted diagonal movement. So I want to try looking straight up. But you'll see I'm pointing at a pretty obvious angle right now, but I'm not doing any, my character's not rotating any. This is because square dead zones have kind of a cross of unregistered diagonal movement. But if I move diagonally and switch to a circular dead zone, you can see the diagonal movement happen because circular dead zones normally allow full diagonal movement. For the most part, you'll just be interacting with the circular dead zone because players will move their stick in more diagonal ways. But of course the issue is that the square dead zone can occur, and that would both, give you extra dead zone size as well as restricting your diagonal movement some for the times you are kind of moving straight for whatever reason. Another kind of more straightforward issue is the dead zone size. This dead zone's about 33%, give or take some, which is quite large. The average is closer to 20 to 25%, and even that's pretty big. So this is noticeably larger than that, as you can see just how much stick movement I can make before any acceleration happens in game. And you might notice these three lines around the axis, or including the axis. The axis line, well, you can understand, is the separation of the quadrants. But if I'm pointing over here, I want to go up and to the left. If I want to point over here, I go up to the right, down to the right, and down to the left. But what's interesting about these is, like, I'm in the upward kind of section, but if I move here, I'm moving downward, but I'm still in the upward section. But if I cross down into this downward section, I start moving up, and if I continue, then I start moving down. This is very obvious when looking up, so I'm in the kind of the left side of it, but if I move here, I'm moving right even though I'm on the left side of this axis. But if I move to the right side, then I move left, and then I move right. So this is kind of strange. What you'd expect is kind of right, then perfectly up, then left. Like, so this is pretty strange how this works. And kind of what's even more strange is the diagonal movement's a little more drastic around this axis line where you expect diagonal movement to be the most subtle. So as you can see, here I'm moving perfectly left, but when I just move it a bit, I'm moving very obviously downward, very obviously upward. But around these axis lines, it's very subtle. Like, you can't really notice it like you'd expect the actual axis line to have it to be. So I mean, again, this is very obvious looking straight up or down. And then like these are very subtle differences. You can see is like barely rotating. And of course the issue with this is it's unintuitive. I mean, you're in the upward portion but you're moving down, or I mean if you're moving in the right portion but moving left, left portion moving right. So this makes diagonal movement incorrect. And just unintuitive in the way it's incorrect. It's not. It's kind of completely backwards in these little sections. But I mean that about covers it. So I mean you kind of have the square dead zone that can possibly pop up depending on how you move the stick, and you have these awkward diagonal regions. So hopefully we'll see in the fix is just a flat circular dead zone with full diagonal movement and correct diagonal movement. So like where this will still be up rather than down, and this will be left rather than right, and that'll be consistent for the entirety of this. And I mean, this isn't the game where it matters particularly, but it'd be nice to see the dead zone shrunk decently to about like 25 or 20 to kind of meet the average of many other games. I mean, you don't need a whole lot of precision for this game, but it does. It would make the cursor movement much smoother than it currently is with a dead zone of this size. But that about covers it. So thanks for watching. Hopefully you found this interesting, and you all have a good rest of your day.